when you're recording that red light.
Yeah, so, okay.
Alright, so you can go ahead and shoot.
Yeah.
Alright. Switch forward a little bit sometime, bro, Mal.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And I'll start this one.
Yeah.
So both of them running. So, Brother Mali.
Yes, sir.
So let me first thank you for agreeing to this interview. And as you're aware, you know, I kind of decided to embark on this project because you have been involved in the Church of the Christ work here in Jamaica for a long time.
Yes.
And I think it makes a lot of sense to hear your story and to have it recorded for posterity.
Indeed.
So, you know, like our folks coming behind can know the work that some of the pioneers, the stalwarts,
Yes.
have done over time. So I'm going to ask you some questions in sections. I'll describe it. So, for example, your early years, 0 to 15. Share some information about your background, family, where you grew up, and when you got involved in the church in the early years, if you did.
Fine. Well, I'm a Kingstonian. My folk hail from Western Jamaica. Father from St. Elizabeth, mother from Hanover. But they met in Kingston, and I was one of few children I had. What I remember of the early years, I was in Allman Town, which is central Kingston. But the years I remember most was I spent, and I like to talk about my years in Trenchtown. Like Marley, I'm in Trenchtown.
Okay, so you're a Trenchtown man.
Yeah, I'm a Trenchtown person. And that was late 40s and the 50s. My father departed this life when I was 9, and before him, well, one sister before him, one after. So virtually I grew up as an only child, you know, to my mom in the Trenchtown. Where I live in Trenchtown, however, is 6th Street, and a lot of very ambitious people, honest people, people who call the salt of the earth. And hear them talk about people like Ernie Wrangling and Jimmy Tucker and a number of those other persons, you know, we shared together. I don't think I knew Marley himself, but he probably came
right after.
Yes. And it was while attending the Denhamtown School that I got an opportunity. I and was successful in the entrance examination for Kingston Technical, and that's the high school, you know, I went to. Very interesting, you know, tremendous mix of people, and I guess that really, to a large extent, formed, you know, my character.
So what kind of student were you?
I would say average, or perhaps above average. I would say not involved in many things, but I was particularly also interested in some of the extracurricular activity. For instance, we used to be involved in a debating society, and we had people like, you probably heard of Roger Cranford. He was at one time the CARICOM Secretary General. And he might have been the only Rhodes Scholar that came from Kingston Technical. He was there.
Okay, so a former Rhodes Scholar.
Yes.
Were you involved in church work then in those early years? Did you go to church? Did your mom go to church?
Not on a regular basis. I had stints, for instance, because persons living, as they say in Jamaica, the yard that I live were of the Seventh-day Adventist persuasion. So I had some time looking in the Seventh-day Adventist. I was not a rigid Sabbath keeper, but I attended church with them.
Can I say anything? You went on to become head boy.
Yes, at Kingston Tech.
Yes.
I went on to become.
Perhaps you tell us a little bit about that.
Very interesting. I guess not many persons before me would have hailed from
Trenchtown to head boy at KP.
Yes, very interesting. What was required there? I've given leadership generally, especially reading for the morning worship and taking charge of the boys when they were. In fact, it was while we were there that the school had elevated the Manning Cup level, the Sunlight. We used to play a thing called Evelyn Cup.
Right.
It was while I there that we entered into the Sunlight era. So I can't say I was a avid sportsman. My job, of course, when we move around with the team, my job was to make sure that when the team go to various venues that the behavior was acceptable.
Okay, as head boy, you monitored performance.
I monitored the performance and make sure that the school reputation remained intact.
So let me ask you, I know you love cricket a lot.
Yes.
And still attend a game. So did you play at all while you were in
Not in any major way.
Not very competitively.
No, not very competitive. But because we live in close proximity to Boys Town, then I was able to see the rise of things like the Collie Smith of this world.
Right.
Know? And in fact, Frank Worrell offered to become the captain of the Boys Town side. And the influence of men like Father Hugh Sherlock.
Right.
You know.
Boys
So
Town.
while I was not a member of Boys Town, but I related closely with persons.
Can you work in
Yes.
the vicinity?
Yes, and the love for cricket, I guess, was honed there, you know.
So let's kind of switch gear a little then and talk about adulthood. 21 on. Where were you in your life trajectory at 21?
All right. Well, I came out of high school directly into the working world. In fact, I was recruited while in high school. A team from the telephone company came, interviewed us, offered me a position, so I really didn't have to. In fact, it is in school that I wrote my application to be involved. And the truth is, we've never had another job since, never needed it all through. But it was in about 56. One of my friends and living in the neighborhood, a fellow called Mika Folks, somehow he and his father had gone involved in the church, came back with the good news that he's a Christian, and how I got involved with the church, I came as a spy. Nobody had believed the report that he was giving. So I was told that I should go and spy. But they said that they figured that it must be some type of pretty girl he saw, and that is what had struck his interest. So his case was tried, he was found guilty when they didn't have his evidence. So I was asked to go and find the evidence to complete the case. So that's what my entry into
So the evidence found you.
Thank you very much. I've always said to some people that out of all of that, the question about the attractive young lady, I ended up, as you know, Jim. Yes.
Yeah. So let me ask you, because you spent your entire working life with a Jamaican telephone company.
I certainly did, yes.
What kind of barriers did you face along the way, and how did you deal with them?
I do not face any barrier. In fact, when I went to the telephone company, for instance, Jim, I work in what is the exchange, they used to call it the automatic. And the truth is, very few people of my color was in there. I mean, people of my color would have to work in the outside plant.
Right.
So that's where you belong. So I remember I was there. Very few people like myself. A fellow named Anselmo Malcolm, who is the brother to Carlos Malcolm, Afro-Jamaican.
Right.
Himself and Logan's and a few others. But most of the other fellas that were invited, they were of lighter hue, So Oh, I didn't have a barriers, thank God, you know, I met some very good people. And in any event, I wanted to prove myself. I thought I wanted to be the best worker there could be. So things like when Deadman will tell you at that time you had the Stroger equipment, and it required testing continuous. You test and test and test to find faults. So it become repetitive. So my approach to it was to, as far as the testing process is concerned, was to set records for myself. So it didn't become boring anymore because I had record going after. What time I could use to the quickest time to the testing that I had to do. So it became a bit better fun, you know.
So it sounds as if like you got opportunities that you seized and that things worked well for you.
Yeah, thank God. One of the opportunities, Jim, is that it was while I was there that the class, of course, was began because, in fact, the principal at Kingston Technical School came here to be the principal for what they envisioned as a polytechnic. CAS. It so happened that CAS was not ready at the time, so they asked him to be the principal at Kingston Tech. You know, so it was just about that time that, you know, we were breaking ground with CAS. But they decided that to give the persons the best opportunity, they should start a telecommunication course at CAS at the time. And I was one of the first students in that, man named Hugh. He started a telecommunication course. And in fact, some of the teachers that taught me were those that taught me in